My name is Pastor Yvonne Chipindu. As we are completing our series, it is not over yet. Yesterday, we learned that a child of God or a believer needs to know his position in order to conquer. Remember, God took Ezekiel in a valley of dry bones. In our own perception, we thought that it was over for these dry bones, but God was still saying something. He said that it is not over yet for these dry bones. Ezekiel, go ahead and prophesy, and the bones were revived. So as a child of God, just know that whatever you are going through, it is not over yet. Jesus even said to the Pharisees, he said, destroy this temple and in 3 days I will rebuild it. And Jesus was only referring to his death, that when I die, I'm going to resurrect on the 3rd day. And when they crucified Jesus, they thought that it was over for the King of the Jews. But he even said that my kingdom is not of this world. And then they were amazed on the 3rd day when he resurrected. And then they even remembered what he had told them, that if you destroy this temple, I will definitely rebuild it in 3 days. So he was only just trying to tell them that when you thought that it was over for me, it was not. Actually, it was only starting. Why? Because like when Jesus was the only Son of God, but now because of his death and his resurrection, he now have me, he now have you, someone in Somalia, those in India, those in Russia, wherever you are, as long as you believe you are God's sons. So now Jesus had even made us, actually there was a multiplication in the kingdom. There was an increase in the kingdom just by his death. And even after he was crucified, the apostles continued to preach. They continued to do miracles. Why? Because it was not over yet for the kingdom of God. And we are still doing it. I am still preaching, and other pastors are preaching too. Why? Because it is not over yet for the kingdom of God. And remember, when they plugged out Samson's eyes, they thought that it was over for that boy, but it was not. Why? Because he even defeated more Philistines than the ones that he had defeated before. In the scriptures, they even tell us that Haman made a plan so that Mordecai will be hanged. And when he told the king, he thought that it was over for Mordecai. But I love God, because Esther went to plead to the king in Mordecai's place. And you know what God did? Instead of Mordecai being for him to be crucified, they then killed Haman instead of Mordecai. So when Haman thought that it was over for Mordecai, God, like Joseph, he had said that you have planned it for evil, but my God twisted it for good. But then God twisted it in favor of Mordecai, and it was only Haman who was killed. So as a child of God, just know that God is still saying something in your situation. He is still there with us. And remember, according to the scriptures, if you go to Colossians, it says that we were dead in our trespasses, but God made us alive. So we were not his children, but God adopted us as his children by Christ's death. So when the devil thought, when he went to Adam in Genesis 3, when he thought that it is over for mankind, but God knew that he had a redemption plan, that I am going to send my son so that he will die for these people and I will forgive their sins. And if they believe in my son, then they will also be included in my redemption plan. So the devil thought that it was over for the children of God. Remember, God had made men in his own image, so he thought that he had made a counter, but it was not that, because God even now he has many sons. There are more sons that are multiplied into his kingdom by the death and the resurrection of his son, who is Jesus Christ. Elijah, when he was with the 450 prophets of Baal, when they were looking at him, remember there were 450 against one. Elijah was the only prophet of God. So when they were looking at him, they thought that it was over for Elijah. And remember, this Elijah is that one prophet who had said, at my word there will be no rain. So now he wanted to display the goodness of God. And just imagine if, even if with human perception, you just favor the 450, because just looking at one man against 450, we as people, we can only think that the 400 men are going to win. But it was not it. It was not over yet for Elijah, because God showed himself up. And remember, this Elijah then slew all the 450. They were killed. They died on that very day when Elijah showed that the God that I worship is the God that needs to be worshipped. So as a child of God, I don't know what you are going through. I don't know the situation that you are in right now, but I don't care whether you are sick. I don't care. Why? Because I know that God is still saying something in your life, that God said that it is not over yet, for Jesus Christ said that it is finished, meaning that everything that we are going through, the tribulations, whatever the persecutions, he said it is finished. It is not over yet. Just still keep on holding on. Even nyangwe zvikawoma ramba wakabatirira pana Mwari. Keep on worshiping, keep on praying, fast, continue to pray and read the Bible, even listening to the pastors as they are preaching, and continue to hold on to God. Have that faith in you. Just know that God is still saying something in my situation. Musavhundutsirwe maKristu. Rambai makangomira pana Mwari. And if you've enjoyed this whole series, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and share. Until we meet again next week, stay blessed.